Hello, welcome back to Channeling Truth. I'm here in my laundry room, switching over laundry. I thought I'd do another quick video. And honestly, this is something that I've always really wanted to talk about because I think we tend to give ourselves labels that segregate each other and honestly make other people frightened about who you are because they just don't understand. So I kind of wanted just to bring light about what the difference between a witch and a psychic is, and all the other mediums and everyone else in general. Okay, so let's get started. So basically, a witch manipulates energy through spells, through intention, with crystals, with other forms of spell works, dust, glitter, all the different elements that they use. They use that to manipulate energy. So they're setting an intention to manipulate energy. So witches intentionally manipulate energy, and they know how to do so, and they do get really good at it with practice. Okay, a psychic reads energy. Basically, a psychic reads energy. So they're reading the energy that is happening all around us through their sight, through all their senses, and there's a whole list of different psychic abilities that you can look up on YouTube. I'm not going to go through them. I don't even have them memorized. But a psychic reads the energy through all their senses. And through their smell, seeing, hearing, just to name a few. So does a witch read energy? Yes, of course she does. Does a psychic manipulate energy? Yes, of course she does. So the thing is that there's no real difference between the two, in fact. There's no real difference between anybody, in fact, when it comes to these things. We all have these abilities. We all do them without even realizing it because it's just a part of our universe. It's just how our universe works. We manipulate energy through our thought, through our physical action, and we read energy all the time. That is exactly what our emotions are, is we're reading the energy around us. So we are all doing these things. The only difference between somebody who calls themselves a psychic and somebody who calls themselves a witch, or other things, there's other things, healers, there's other things. But what they're doing is setting those intentions to do so. So they're intentionally building those skills to be able to see ghosts or see energy. And they're intentionally manipulating energy to give them what they want. They want more money coming into their life. So they're going to do a spell to try to create that more money. So they're intentionally trying to manipulate the energy fields to give them what they want. And they're intentionally reading the energy to understand what's going on around them. So that is the real difference between a witch and a psychic. And honestly, everybody does these things. And I just have a couple examples of the different ways. So some ways that you can manipulate energy. When you really miss a friend and you're thinking about them a lot and you're wondering what's going on with them, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call and then they're on the phone with you. That is a basic type of manipulating energy. You put that intention out there and then it came back to you. So that's manipulating energy. People call it different things. They can call it lining up with a situation, lining up. I've heard people say you lined up to that vibration. It's the same thing. So another thing, you physically manipulate energy all the time by just turning on a light switch. You turn on a light switch and you've manipulated that energy, So we are constantly melding with the energy around us, and we're constantly moving it and changing it and calling things towards us and calling things away from us. We're constantly manipulating energy. You don't need to even know that you're doing it. You're doing it. It's just like breathing. We can listen to ourselves breathe and we can hear ourselves breathe, but we breathe many, many, many times during the day and we don't ever pay attention to it. That's the same thing. So the only reason why you may not be experiencing these things, or you may not understand that you are doing these things, is just because you're not paying attention to it. And which is fine. Not everybody is here to see ghosts. Not everybody is here to manipulate energy. You kind of have to, like intentionally manipulate energy, I should say. You kind of have to figure out what you want to do, how you want to be. But just understand that you are no different from them. We're all the same. We're all one, you know? And we're all the same in that way. Just some people are doing it a little different, you know? And you wouldn't, I used this example last night with my husband, was Michael Jordan went into basketball and he wasn't a very good three-point shooter, but he practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and became one of the best in the NBA at three-point shots. But he didn't have that natural ability going into it. He had the natural ability to play sports and to be athletic, but to do that specific thing, he didn't have a natural talent to do. He had to practice it. So that's no different from anybody else. Anybody can become really good at manipulating energy intentionally, and anybody can become really good at reading energy. You know, it's just a matter of practicing and wanting to, setting that intention to do so. So some other examples of what a psychic does with reading energy, things that you may do, just not even without thinking about it, is feeling the temperature of the room. You know, you're just using your senses to feel the temperature of the room. No, you know, you might not be looking at a thermometer. You might just be feeling the room and you can kind of tell what temperature it is, you know. When you walk into a room and there was like a fight going on and you can feel, like they say, you can cut the air with a knife, you know, that's sensing the energy. That's using your intuition. When you are working on a problem and then all of a sudden the solution for the problem pops into your head, where do you think that came from? You know, we don't always think about these ideas directly from our brain. We're getting help from the outside world, feeding us information. And that is what a psychic does, reading the information around us, reading the energy around us. Okay? So another one, taking a different path because something feels off. So walking down the street and turning a different way that you normally don't go because something felt off over there. You know, that's using your intuition. And that is that's part of being a psychic. That's one thing that a psychic strength can be, is building that intuition and being very intuitive. But these are just some of the things about a witch and a psychic, and I would just really wanted to make this video because people tend to put bad labels on it. I looked at looked up witch on Google, and they were talking about how they're evil people who put bad spells on people and do harm and things. And I'm just like, that's not true. That's not true. Everybody can do harm on somebody and everybody can be a bad person, but we can't put labels on those kind of people, you know, because anybody can be like that. So it's not fair to say that one specific person does that because they label themselves as a witch, and it's not fair. So I just wanted to kind of bridge the gap between these labels and what we label ourselves. And be careful, because let's not create more stereotypes and more segregation because we choose to label ourselves a certain way. We're all equal, we're all one, and we have to come together and use our strengths and weaknesses to help each other, not to be separate from each other. So that's all I had to say. If you're interested in these topics, either one of them, I'd be happy to talk more about them, so leave a comment below. I really appreciate you listening to me. I love all of you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.